I've been thinking for a while now how the brain, our consciousness, is a God's gift. Now, you can state it differently based on your beliefs. Whether you want to say it is a gift from God, it is a gift from the gods, it is a God-like gift, or it is a God-bestowing gift. But it's definitely a God's gift. Now, before you think I'm strung out on dope or meth or I'm just coming down, I'm agnostic myself. I have an open mind, and although I believe in possibility, I don't put my beliefs towards any specific model of existence. I'm still observing. But when it comes to the immaterial, the things which are beyond reality, I also keep an open mind. And so when I say the brain is a God's gift, I mean that with our consciousness, our higher consciousness, our human consciousness, if you watch throughout history, it's given us control as a people, sometimes as individuals. It has given us control over all living things. That is a God's gift. Between our creativity, our imagination, and our will and our drive to apply that to, advancing methods, techniques, technology, the maturing of best practices through, I guess, the honing of trade skills from generation to generation, only keeping the best, evolving in our practice, not just in our physiology. Now, it's not to the point where we have control over all things, because, until we can enslave a star or a black hole, forces of nature themselves are still, they can subside us any days. They can wipe us off the face of the planet, just a radiation burst, or I guess a nuclear winter. But as far as things that are living, all things that we know they're living, we have power over because of our brain, our God's gift. We have domain over them. It wasn't always that way, but we rose to the top as I do find it was meant to be. There's no way that we can have what we have as human beings and not be on top of every other living thing on the planet. I think that there would be a lazy neglect of our intellectual capacity and our capacity to imagine and innovate. Now, beyond that, of course, beyond the practical applications of our intelligence and our creative means, reaches into the philosophical, the metaphysical, the religious, the ethical, just debating amongst ourselves and amongst each other all these different ideas of what might be, what could be, metathinking itself, psychology, all of these just layered paths of thought and creativity and intelligence built and stocked in libraries, much of which have been lost to time. There are many great inventors, many great theorists, people like Nikola Tesla come to mind, that once they were gone, without their knowledge archived, there are models and ideas and thoughts that the world will never see again. Each and every time that someone dies and their consciousness floats away or does whatever you believe it does, maybe that's just it and they turn off, there is a unique experience that is lost from the world that we live in, aside from what they might have written down or recorded or the ways that they had changed the world, the ideas and innovations and inventions that they had put forward. If they stored all of it in their head and their brain died, then that is something that the world, in all likelihood, may never see again. So that's one of the reasons why I am doing what I'm doing, why I like to have these conversations with people, the people that will talk, the people that will pull their heads up away from whatever entertainment is in their hands and talk with another human being, if not face-to-face across the internet with these virtual communities, because there's only one way to get to each person's unique experience. There's only one way to use the search engine that you want to use when it comes down to each person's own databank, and that is to have a conversation with them. Pick their brain. Because, and I often do this to challenge people's views, not because I'm opposed, but if someone has a certain viewpoint or someone is faithful, because I am not, I will challenge their beliefs, challenge their ideas, not to be a dick, not to oppose them or change what they see closer to what I see on purpose. Sometimes it happens by accident. But challenging their beliefs in order to kind of feel them out. It's like cartography, like building a map. Yes, you believe in God, but which God, from which books, from which beliefs, which line of people, which library do you trust back to history? How have you personalized your religious experience? Or if you're talking about science, how have you personalized your view of physics? How have you personalized your journey through science? Because if you challenge those beliefs and you make somebody speak out and define those beliefs, then they further understand them on their own. When it comes down to religion and science, philosophy, a lot of people don't quite touch on, but religion and science, or psychology, which is more likely for people to touch on, I do find that it is very important for each person to stake out their individual viewpoint and to have it challenged, because a bland acceptance of these wide phenomenon, whether it's reinforcement of behavior or religious dogma versus religious doctrine versus religious values, or whether it's honesty in science and dishonesty in science, correct practices for sample sizes, the scientific method, and in philosophy, all the different schools from the absolute and total physical to this is all just an illusion, I think, therefore I am. Each person has their own journey and their own personal take on it, whether they realize it or not. You're not going to know unless you ask those questions. Asking those questions also helps you further accept and define or change your personal view, your personal journey through all of these ideas. And you can sit back and lay in your armchair and mash down Cheetos and watch other people play video games. But you can also get up and talk to somebody. And I heavily encourage the latter if and when it is available. Coming back to the smoking dope or meth, our brains contain everything we need to feel really, really good. And if we do something really, really good, like sex or victory or, physical accomplishment or winning an argument, or I guess playing video games and eating Cheetos, if we do something really, really good, our brain will release endorphins to make us feel really, really good. That's why exercise is healthy. That's why if you have positive interaction with other people, like these conversations, you're much less likely to be depressed because your brain makes you happy when you use it. So I guess in closing, if you agree that this is a God's gift that we are given. Our intellect is a God's gift that, again, gives us power over all things living in the planet. If you agree, don't squander it. Don't squander what you've been given. Talk to these other people. Flesh out your beliefs, their beliefs. Learn. Learn every day of your life. If you don't believe that this thing we were given, this brain, this gray matter in our head, is a God's gift, then, well, get a hold of me and I'll debate you. Or find your own personal motivation to move forward and innovate in life, because if you don't respect this gray thing in your head, then I doubt you respect me.